What is going on, Halo fans? Luke TheNotable here, and today we're going to be talking about REQ points. I haven't talked about REQ points in a very long time. I didn't think I'd be talking about REQ points for a very long time, and that's because I've made tons of videos showcasing a bunch of different ways to get the maximum REQ points per hour. However, every single time 343 comes out with a new game mode, playlist, whatever, I always get comments saying, hey, can you check out this playlist, game mode, whatever. I think it has better REQ points than the stuff that you stated in the video. And this is going to be the end-all be-all for my REQ pack videos. This is the only one you're going to have to watch, and I'm seriously considering unlisting all the other ones because they're going to be obsolete after this video drops. So what you have to understand about REQ points and XP is they are linked directly to time. It doesn't matter what playlist you're playing, unless it's a featured playlist where you get more XP. Doesn't matter what playlist you are playing, the time of the game is going to dictate how many REQ points or XP you get. Fair warning, there's a little bit of math in this video, so if you don't like math, I guess you can click away now, but I think it's fairly interesting. So the first thing I did is I created a graph that you see on screen. What this is data from about 60 arena games from all different types of playlists: SWAT, Free-for-All, Slayer, Team Arena. I recorded how long the games took in seconds, how many REQ points you got, and how many XP points you got at the end of the game. But for the sake of making this graph look a little bit more simple, I got rid of the XP points because not only would it make the graph more simple, but let's be honest, who really gives a shit about their rank? So that big black bold line that you see in the center of our data that runs through all our data points, that's our line of best fit. If you don't know what that means, it's essentially just a line drawn through a bunch of points on a graph in a scatter plot that kind of gives you a general idea of what the data means. What this graph shows is that as time progresses, the amount of REQ points you earn on average doesn't progress as much. In the arena, I found that on average, a 5-minute game yielded about 700 REQ points, but a 10-minute game yielded about 975 REQ points. So you're playing for twice as long, but you're only getting about 50% more REQ points. If this data was truly linear, if we played double the amount of time, we would get double the amount of REQ points. I created this graph to kind of help show you how earning REQ points and XP works in Halo 5. So you can see for the first 5 minutes of the game, this is what this line here represents, we get REQ points incredibly fast, multiple hundred per minute. But after the 5-minute mark, it levels off and becomes much more steady to the point where we really don't get many REQ points per minute. And this is true in both Arena and Warzone. Both of them work exactly the same way. Warzone Assault and Warzone, if you can get a game that lasts around 5 minutes, that's going to be the most effective time to get the most REQ packs. And for this reason, SWAT is the best playlist for REQ points because all of the games in SWAT last about 5 minutes. And in my previous REQ pack videos, I pretty much just ended it there. I said, yeah, SWAT's the best because each game lasts about 5 minutes. But what I forgot to take into account was the fact that between games you had to wait. This video is going to primarily focus on that variable. So first off, we have to agree that wait times are different for everybody. For me, they average about a minute. Some people it might be 2 minutes, some people it might be 3, some people wait like 10 minutes between games. What I've done is I've created a formula which allows you to figure out what's best for you. Okay, here comes the math, guys. This next formula I'm going to show you allows you to calculate exactly how many games you can play per hour, including the amount of wait time, as long as you know the average time per game. The formula is 3600. That's the amount of seconds in an hour. And you're going to set that equal to t, where t equals the average time of your gameplay. X is this thing you're solving for, that's the number of games per hour, plus w, which is your wait time. This could be anywhere from a minute, 60 seconds, which is what I was using for some of these formulas, or like 3 minutes, which would be 180 seconds. And then of course you're going to times w by x, and again, that is what you're solving for. It's the same variable. So what I did is I used this formula and calculated the average games per hour if your games lasted 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, all the way up to 15 minutes. After that, I was able to find out the games per hour based on the average time that a game takes if you had a break between matches of 1 minute, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes. When you're playing a game that lasts an average of 5 minutes, if your wait times between each match is 60 seconds or a minute, you can play 10 games an hour. However, if your wait times are 3 minutes or 180 seconds, you can only play 7.5 games per hour. So then what I did is I took my games per hour and I multiplied it by the average REQ points per game that I got in my first graph that I showed you at the beginning of this video, and because I'm multiplying my REQ points per game and games per hour, I got my REQ points per hour for each individual time. Interestingly, what I found is that despite the amount of time between matches, so despite your connection, despite how many games you're playing per hour, a game that lasts 5 minutes long yields the most REQ points and XP per hour. This is why you want to play the playlist SWAT, because SWAT games, regardless of the score, regardless of if your team is good or not, it generally takes about 4 or 5 minutes, sometimes even 6, to get the games over with. This means that every single game of SWAT you play, you're going to be getting REQ points at the most efficient time. And you may have heard that Warzone Assault has better REQ points and XP per hour, and that is true if you can average 5-minute games of Warzone Assault, and that means literally winning every single game all in a row. Just to compare, playing SWAT, regardless of wins or anything like that, will yield you about 7,000 REQ points per hour, and that's pretty much the same if you're playing Warzone Assault and you're getting the average time that I got, which was about 9.5 minutes. However, if you're playing with a full team of 12 and you are literally winning every single game in 5 minutes or less, you can get 13,000 REQ points per hour in Warzone Assault. Also, you guys may find this interesting. Using my formula, I found that if you were to play Warzone Assault with a full party of 12, win every single game, and also use a legendary REQ point boost for every single game, you would get just about 30,000 REQ points per hour. But again, playing Warzone Assault and winning every game isn't really realistic unless you have that full party of 12. So if you're just playing alone and you want to rank up or get the most REQ points per hour, play SWAT. It's Luke the Notable approved. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this answers anyone's question in the future that ever asks me, hey, the new playlist that came out, do you think it has better REQ points per hour than SWAT? Go to this, I'm going to just refer people to this video now. This is the end all be all. This is the answer to does this playlist get more REQ points than SWAT or any other playlist? The only difference is if a playlist is featured. If a playlist is featured, it has a little gold star next to it, and that means that you're going to get a little bit more XP and I think a little bit more REQ points as well. That being said, right now Infection is the current featured playlist. It's giving a little bit more REQ points per hour than my data should show that it should be giving, but despite that, you're still going to average a lot lower than 7,000 REQ points per hour. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I love reading comments. It's my favorite part about YouTube. And if you liked the video, please not only hit the thumbs up button, because that really helps me out, but comment down below too. I really like to hear from the people that enjoy my content. Stay notable, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Sorry for the math too, by the way.